Good evening and welcome to another edition of Kim's Corner. I'm Kim Brown, your host, and today I have with me again Councilman Darrin Sharif. How are you?
It is always good to be with you. I honestly, sincerely mean that. You make me feel so comfortable when we sit down and talk.
And as you know, Councilman Sharif is Central Ward Councilman, and he's running for re-election. But I know it's one question that's puzzling my viewers. They all want to know. You were a mayoral candidate for mayor 2014,
Yes.
and you decided not to run. Why did you decide not to run?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking me. We decided to run for mayor because we believed, and we still believe, we have the best plan to move the city forward, not only for economic development and jobs, but also those important investments in the community. But unfortunately, at the national, state, and local level, it requires resources to run a successful campaign. We were the absolute last to get in the race. I think we declared August the 27th, and it was very difficult for us to raise the money. But that really should be a message to residents that unless they engage the small everyday person to pick that person that represents their interests the best, special interests and big money will continue to dominate these elections. Mm-hmm. And so with a very important decision to make coming up to the deadline for filing petitions for all offices, we made the difficult but we think appropriate decision to withdraw from the mayor race and to file petitions to run for re-election.
So this is your first term as councilman
It's my
anyway.
first
So
term.
You're going into your second term.
Yes.
In May 14th.
May 13th.
May 13th. May 13th.
Yeah, May 13th.
At least I'm in May now. Before I could say April, which would have been here already.
Right.
So we're going into going forward. What would you like to see happen? What didn't you get a chance to do during your first term that you would like to complete during your second term?
I'm very hard on myself, and I'm a perfectionist. We made a number of important investments in the neighborhood. We established 5 building-based computer labs at-risk and underserved places like New Hope Village, Oscar Miles, 440 Washington, Pilgrim Baptist, Winona Lippman Gardens. We want to establish at least another 15 in the next 4 years. We made a $1 million investment in the basement of Renaissance Towers to totally gut rehab it, to develop partnerships with our institutional stakeholders. We want to build on those. This is our 4th year of our learning community at Science Park High School. We want to establish at least another 3 to 5 learning communities at other schools in the neighborhood. So it really, Kim, is continuing to build on what we started in 2010. And our slogan then was building partnerships for change. Our slogan now is let's continue the progress.
Okay, you have some new projects that are going on in the Central Ward. Tell us about some of those new projects.
We have a number of projects. The biggest project I think that residents are excited about is the Springfield Avenue Marketplace project. That's between South Orange Avenue, Springfield Avenue, up top Jones Street, and down below Prince Street. That's 11 acres. When the project is totally completed, late 2015, we'll have a shop right there. We'll have 2 restaurants, so residents not only in the Central Ward, but throughout our city will be able to go and have a nice meal. And we'll have 152 units of market rate housing. We redid the Cityplex 12 and Shaquille O'Neal and his partner Bore, but they're also invested in a luxury apartment complex on the side of the old Science High School on Rector Street, across the street from the New Jersey PAC. There's going to be a 23-story luxury
Now, hasn't
building
that plan been in for a while, or wasn't he trying to get that building? That's been something that's been going off and on for a
long while.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, projects of that size require money and subsidies from the state. The first time they're hoping to get what they call an urban transit hub tax credit. 5 projects put in for it for Newark, but that had to compete against projects outside of Newark. Unfortunately, that project was not selected. But the New Jersey State Senate, working with the Assembly, identified another pot of money called the Economic Opportunity Act money. So that project was able to be funded, and that's going to be a terrific project for downtown. Residents who want to move and be closer to the action downtown.
So you said that's going to be a luxury.
So that's going to be a luxury.
All right. So are Newark residents like me, am I going to be able to afford to live there?
You've got money in the Caymans. You've got all these.
Oh, really?
So it is, and that's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we build something luxury or market rate, some people in the community say it's for outsiders. But we have a lot of people who live in Newark who have the means and the income to be able to move into a development like that. So I'm going to be doing my best once it's built to alert people who have the resources who can move in there. And there are plenty of those people that I've met since I've been in office and even before I've been in office.
Okay, so now since you said you're running again for re-election, what has been more difficult this time that you didn't face? What problems have you faced this time that you didn't face the last time that you ran for election?
Well, pretty much the same problem, Kim. I mean, last time we ran as an independent, we got invited to be on both slates and we declined because it's important for me to only represent the residents, not be conflicted or compromised by special interest groups or unions. And this time around, it's the same thing. We got invited to be on both slates, and for the same reason, we declined. Like I said, it takes a lot of money to run a campaign, and you have to convince everyday residents that an investment in a campaign is really an investment in Newark, an investment in the future. And that's been the most challenging thing, raising the resources to run a competitive race. The advantage that we have this time that we didn't have, not a lot of people knew about us in the Central Ward. A lot of people know about us through the initiatives and activities that we've done in the ward. So we've started this re-election with a lot more support, residential support, than we had 4 years ago. So we're confident that if we continue to work hard between now and Election Day, May 13th, that we will get to come back and serve a second term.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more, some of our viewers, explain a little more about some of the initiatives that you have going on in the Central Ward right now. I'm more detail.
I'm a big advocate in human development, human growth. I believe we should all be lifelong learners and eager to learn something that we didn't know before. And my goal and our challenge as a community is to infect our residents with an intellectual curiosity that gets them learning all the time. So all of the initiatives that we do have to do with that human development aspect. The project that I really want to talk about a little is the project in the basement of Renaissance Towers. When we finished that project, and I was there 2 days ago with a group of students from Rutgers University, it is truly phenomenal. The $1 million will put smart boards in every single one of the 10 classrooms.
So what is that setup? Is it like a community center?
It's a community center. It's in the basement of Renaissance Towers, roughly 4,000 square feet. And we have tons of furniture that we got from Panasonic when they made the move from Secaucus to Newark. It's sitting in storage. So it's going to be beautiful. But I want it to be a community center for all of Central Ward residents and all of Newark residents. But the beauty and the promise and the magic of this Center for Human Development and Civic Engagement, that's what we call it, is that we will enter into memorandum of agreements with some of our institutional stakeholders who've been in Newark for 20, 30, and 40 years. We just have done a poor job as elected officials, political leaders, in engaging them and developing relationships that result in programs and initiatives and social products that will help our people. So, for example, 6 months ago, I traveled to Boston, Massachusetts, where MIT is there. That's one of the top, it is the top technical institute in this country, one of the top in the world, because I discovered that they developed a program for young people, kids, to become computer programmers. And when I met with the person who heads up their media lab, he said, Councilman, we work with communities not only throughout this country, but throughout the world. There are 2 million kids around the world that use this program called Scratch.
So are they going to help? Are they funding? Are they going to
So the great thing about it is it's free. It's what they call open source, this program, so we don't have to pay a licensing fee for it. They're going to come down, do an official handover and training to NJIT, and then we're going to work with students from NJIT in their computer science department, students from Rutgers in their computer science department, and then the Newark public schools, charter schools, private schools, it doesn't matter to us, to teach our kids as young as 8 years old to be computer programmers.
Don't they have that in the charter schools? Or do they have that in the charter schools already? Because they receive private funds.
So okay, we're gonna get
so we're gonna
we're gonna get into a fight.
No, we're gonna fight right now. No, I'm not gonna fight you. I'm not gonna fight you right now.
So they, and I get this question all the time, and we might as well pivot to education and what my position is. Charter school versus district school versus private school. And my answer is easy. I think all of our kids should be prepared with a world-class education to compete in this 21st century. I represent 55,000 residents and thousands of parents whose kids go to charter schools, go to district schools, and go to private schools. And they say to me, Councilman Sharif, we want you to do the best that you can to bring resources into my respective school. Now, charter schools that do a terrific job, we should support them. Charter schools that do a horrible job, we should close them down.
Just like they do with North Public Schools.
Right,
But
and
on that note, you know what I have to do, right? Got to get paid. So on that note, we're going to hear a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back with Councilman Sharif. Stay tuned.
Hey, better watch Kim Corner. Don't you touch that dial.
Mayor of Newark must be mayor of every single person, every single family, in every single ward. Ross Baraka for mayor.
Hi, I'm Larry Holmes. Watch Kim Corner every week. She's a knockout.
And welcome back. And I'm here with Councilman Darrin Sharif. And while we're here, we want to thank Ms. Deborah Petty. We're here at the Essex Sports Cafe here on 18 Green Street in Newark. And great food, great service.
I was here 2 days ago. Had catfish fingers. She tried to make me eat a salad, and I said I didn't eat fruit or salad.
And you know what? I was surprised because you're so svelte. You look like you work out and you take care of yourself. And then you were like, you're a sweet person. You like sweet. And you said you don't like salads.
I have a horrible sweet tooth. I woke up one morning and I had chocolate and crumbs in my hair. So I was so tired, but I had to have the sweets, and I must have just fallen asleep and woke up. But I do work out. I have a horrible diet. In my second term, I'm going to get a nutritionist and force myself to eat well.
Last summer you had the initiative last summer. What was it? The sports?
Yeah, the health initiative at Nat Turner Park.
Yeah, because I came out
Yes.
and I talked to you and your Brett.
And there were a group of nurses and nutritionists from Newark Beth. So this second term, those are the kind of people we're going to bring into that space in the basement of Renaissance Towers, and they'll give workshops, webinars. We'll tape it. It'll be available online for people who want to go and pick and follow a healthy diet. So we're going to get much more involved with them in the second term.
Okay, you were talking about education and charter schools. I'm not going to beat you up with that, but yes, they haven't closed as many charter schools as they have public schools, though.
Kim, this is what I will say, and everybody knows. And I was born in Newark. I was raised in Newark. My father was the president of the Board of Education way back when.
I remember that.
But even prior to him being elected to be president, our schools were in horrible shape. So long before the state came in 1995 to take our schools over, they needed improvement.
Yeah, they haven't done such a great job either. So, what's next in line? Are you going to run for governor? Are you going to run for president? Are you going to be our second black president?
So please, please vote for me to be a returned Central Ward council person. I am ambitious, but I'm not that ambitious. I never. Some people have that burning ambition, and one office is a stepping stone along the way to the next. I wanted to run in the Central Ward because, and I say this respectfully to all other 4 wards, it is the richest ward in terms of resources. 5 universities of higher education here, all of the big businesses here. All we have to do is learn to work with these different stakeholders and leverage their collective resources to get more things done. So I'm more than happy being a Central Ward council person, and I'm hoping that on May the 13th, the residents will come out and give me another 4 years.
What's your line number?
So that's another great thing.
Yeah,
C1. I'm the first one in there. So you walk in, you pick on the A line, the B line for the at-large, and that first number is C1.
How many opponents do you have?
7, so there are 8 of us. Just one more than last year. There were 7 of us.
Was it that many last year?
There were 7 last year.
The last time?
And if you held a gun to my head, I can probably name most of them, but there. You don't want me to name them, no.
No, you don't have to name. I don't remember it being
There were
7.
seven
I
of
just
us.
remember this election that was like supposed to be 29 people that were running for for at large. So
Yeah.
that's not happening now. I think it's down to what, 19 now.
19 and 50 people running for whatever, from mayor to at large.
It's a lot
to
of
ward.
candidates. This.
A lot of candidates. A lot of candidates.
Why do you think there's a lot of candidates in this upcoming election?
Well, I think that they think they can serve the city, and I respect that. I look forward to the debates. So there's going to be an upcoming debate on
there's
Cablevision where we get to engage each other respectfully but vigorously, and that's what I'll be doing with my 7 candidates who are running for my seat. Because I think at the end of the day, it's not who you like, who you share a beer with, who you hang out with. It's that the individual that has a solid plan for the future and a vision for the future. But you also have to look at their past performance. And there are candidates in this race that have been elected before. And I'm going to focus in on the time that they spent in office and what they accomplished. And I think that's fair game, and I'm going to exploit that. So,
And is that a good way or a bad way?
it's I just honestly I think that that people should have concrete plans that they put on the table, and from everything that we've done, there are concrete things from our adopt the lots, beautifying these vacant lots, to the 5 building-based computer labs, to the $1 million investment that we made in the basement of Renaissance Towers. Between now 2015, $1.2 billion will be invested in economic development. That'll mean thousands of jobs and job opportunity. So we have a very impressive record of accomplishment and achievement. So I'm going to put that on display, but I'm also going to challenge my candidates to talk about what they've done.
Are there going to be some new training programs for residents to get in? Because the job market is changing, and that's one thing that's happening. That's one of the biggest problems right now with unemployment, especially in Newark. A lot of the job market is changing. We're going to have programs put in place for the citizens of Newark so they can get the training. So when corporations like Panasonic come in and they have the new Prudential headquarters going up here, so these people can be qualified. Are there going to be programs put in place? I know they keep saying that they're going to be, but I haven't really heard of any. So are there going to be programs?
Our workforce development entity is Newark Works. It used to be MOET, the Mayor's Office of Employment and Training, and they do not do nearly a good enough job preparing.
So that's what Newark
residents.
Works.
That's what Newark
That's
Works
what they
used to
do.
be.
So
they're the
formerly
one-stop,
MOET.
right? They're the
Okay.
workforce development entity. But the center that I'm building will have the flexibility to enter into partnerships with other partners like Essex County College to drill down and say what are the demand occupations of now and the future, and customize training programs for people who really want to be prepared to compete for those jobs. I think there's too much of a separation between Newark Works and the jobs of the future. I don't think they do enough to develop those customized training jobs that training programs that people can go into and train for the jobs. We now should be talking to Panasonic. We should be talking to every big employer that comes here to say what specific job opportunities do you offer? What are those job descriptions? What specific skills do they require? And from that information that we get from them, we should design those training programs so it's not just general training, it's training specifically connected to what these corporations do. If we did a better job of doing that, then we would have a better chance of placing our residents in those different job positions for those different companies. But we don't do that.
So where do you see Newark in 4 years?
Newark is going to continue to build economically. The investments that we make, we're going to replicate throughout our ward, and we hope that other wards look at what we do and make similar investments. The biggest investment that we have to make is in our people because of what you talked about, the need for jobs. If every employer here hired Newark residents, still we'd have thousands and thousands and thousands of residents who'd have to compete for jobs outside of Newark. So that makes training that much more important, because outside of Newark, when somebody goes for a job and they say, oh, Councilman Sharif sent me, they might say, who is Councilman Sharif?
But you know what, on that note, you know what I want you to do? I want you to look in the camera and I want you to give your mission statement why should we re-elect Darrin Sharif as
Thank you.
the councilman again?
You should elect me because 4 years ago, I made a promise to you. I said that we would build partnerships that would change the community and the lives of the people who live there in a way that you could measure. And from all of the programs and initiatives that we did, from our Adopt the Lots, our building-based computer labs, this $1 million investment, bringing more economic development, we've delivered on that commitment. And so I want to continue the progress, and I promise what we did, we will double in the next 4 years. So look at what I've done, and if you're satisfied that we delivered on the commitment, please come out and support me on May the 13th, 2014, so that we can continue to move our ward forward and to be the leader of the other 4 wards in our city.
So what are they going to be pulling?
So they're going to walk in and they're going to pull C1. That's my ballot position. So wake up early, go to the polls. If you don't go to the polls before, when you get off work, come in, C1, Councilman Sharif. Let's continue the progress.
Okay. You know, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Speaking with you. I hope you do some of those. See, I already got you in office again. I hope you repeat some of those initiatives you had in the summer, because it was nice
Yes.
out there at Nat Turner Park.
We did a lot of great things.
So I'm going to wish you the best
Thank you.
of luck.
Thank
You
you.
said C1.
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 Right.
May
May the 13th.
May the 13th.
May the 13th.
I can't get it right. I'll be there at the polls. You know I'll be there. I will vote.
You'll come. I'll cast my vote. You'll say, Councilman Sharif, did you cast your vote? Who'd you vote for?
Yeah, but I can't vote. I can't vote for you because I don't live in the Central Ward.
So call your friends and relatives and family and tell them to support me for re-election.
Okay, there's my producer with his gadgets going off again. It never fails. But again, I want to thank you. I wish you much success. We'll see how this election turns out.
I appreciate it.
All right,
Thank you.
appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Kim.
I want to thank everybody for watching Kim's Corner. I'll see you next time. Come out and vote.
Fabulous.